Yeah, so I feel like we should just bang Draymond out. Well,
Yeah, do that.
not actually, but yeah,
You
we
would.
should. Welcome back to another episode of Game Winning Podcast. We have finally our third member of Game Winning Turnover. Dula is finally joining us. Connor here with Bryce, and now Dula. Dula, we are happy to have you on. Thank you for finally coordinating this,
It's
and
like
we
a-
get to see your beautiful face today.
It's like a blend of season 1 and season 2. We'll call this season 3
Facts.
because why not?
Facts.
It's only like 6 episodes a season, but
All
we'll call it
quality
that.
content.
Hopefully, we can see Bryce's face next week.
Yeah, we'll see. Probably fucking not.
Yeah, I'm the only one here who doesn't have a
Hey,
profile.
listen, season one gave us our highest viewed YouTube video. So
Bryce actually
That's
texted me
true.
with that the other day. He was like, "Did you know that our highest viewed video was this?" And I was like, "Yep."
Well,
And
it wasn't even that. It was just the
Yeah,
fact
dude.
that it had
it's got what, like
our views are like
got
it's
like
like
12,000,
10,
right?
20, like sometimes sometimes double digits, and this one was just 12K. I was like, what the
we have
fuck?
to do more of those. Like we have to
hey,
react
that was
more.
the great. Yeah, doing clips would be cool, but that was the great thumbnail your boy put in there.
Yeah, it was
That was
good.
tough. That was sensational. Like we got to put up my my Tatum draft reaction up there. I don't know if
yeah.
people would buy it just because it's been so long, but we have the
Because
video.
it's so long ago.
We have the video.
Yeah.
But that's facts. Okay, so today we have a couple headlines, and we're also going to get into some NBA stuff with the All-Star voting. We all picked the 12-man rosters for all the All-Star teams, so we're going to get into that too. So, headline person, Bryce, without any further ado, please give us these headlines.
Thank you, Connor. What is this, like a newscast? What are we,
That's what it
fucking
sounds like.
ESPN 12 or something?
Over to
Jesus.
you, Bryce. With the weather.
Over in Philadelphia, we have Bryce with the headlines this week.
Okay, damn it. Do you want me to redo it? What the fuck?
No, we're leaving that in, Connor.
Yeah, we gotta roast your ass.
All right, here we go.
But one of the bigger ones this week, there's obviously a really big one that happened on recording day today, the 18th of February. But we'll get into that next because that's something very personal to me now.
Oh, it is.
In a way. But we're going to start with the Draymond Green comments and how he talked about in a post-game interview how he felt players should be treated in a trade situation. And he obviously, if you go and listen to the video, he gives his view on how badly players are treated in the situation where they're requesting the trade versus when the franchise themselves wants to trade a player. And if you guys have any starting comments, I don't know. I just think I think he hit it right on the head, and I totally agree with what he had to say.
Dula, go ahead.
I do too. Yeah, I agree with it too. But like, what really kind of just like grind my gears was like, I was watching Sports Center, and then the two anchors, one was Sage Still. I don't know who the other one was because he's irrelevant. Doesn't matter. But they were saying like, oh, well, they were trying to make excuses for the owners. They were saying like,
Of course.
oh well, it's so they don't get hurt and they don't lose their trade value. It makes sense. They're basically saying Draymond was wrong, and then Sage Still has the nerve to go like, well, my dad always said life's not fair, but I think life's pretty fair when you're making $25 million a year. I was like, you're trying to like diminish his point.
Yeah.
Like his point was he was right. There's still people even they're making $25 million a year.
Yeah, and the fact that like you have he's absolutely right. Like when Harden requests a trade, all of us slandered him for it in the way that he did it because he didn't try those last couple games in Houston. But you have this Andre Drummond situation, for example, and Blake Griffin, and when he was with the Clippers, and you have like all these different examples of guys who don't fit the timeline. So now it's just, oh, well, you're just going to wait till we trade you. And I actually hadn't looked at it from that angle until he said it. He is right. Like he is right about that. Now, Draymond is a very outspoken guy, and he is probably this generation's like outspoken guy where he just starts screaming all the time. But he is absolutely right. Like usually things Draymond says, I'm like, you are not good enough to say that. But he's absolutely right when he talks about this because the owners do need to be held accountable just like we hold the players accountable.
Yeah, and you bring up the point that like you haven't seen it like that before, and that's because kind of like what Dula was saying, the media portrays it in a certain way to where we're supposed to think, oh, that player's an asshole. They're lazy. They don't want to do this. They're making all this money and they're not trying. Like, be grateful for what you have. But then at the same time, we're not behind the scenes. We don't understand what the situation is, right? Like with Harden, we obviously he dogged it. It was like he wanted out of Houston and he didn't want to play there. So can we really blame him for like playing the way that he did when he was gonna get traded anyway? That's kind of like him going all out just diminishes his value as him as a player to get traded out of there. If he gets hurt, nobody's going to want to trade for him. So it kind of goes both ways, but it depends on what the media has to say. And of course, they're going to defend the owners because the owners are the ones actually making all the money. And, it's just, we're finally, I don't know, Draymond's kind of speaking out and shedding some light on what it's potentially like for the players too.
Yeah, I think that kind of sparked it was with Andre Drummond on the bench because he's going to get traded, but he also like touched on like how Marcus Cousins had to get pulled from the bench because they told him he got traded, or like you got players finding out they're traded on Twitter. I don't know, it's just because like no one really talks about that. It's just like, oh, this happened, and they kind of just blow over and that. But when players ask to be traded and dog it like Harden did, it's a huge deal because the media just blows it up.
Yeah,
that's unacceptable. When the player finds out on Twitter and doesn't find out from the team owner,
it happens every offseason.
And it's unacceptable. And Draymond is kind of putting the pressure on Adam Silver here because Adam Silver is a players commissioner. He just does whatever the players want him to do because he wants to be liked by the players, and that's fine when you're the commissioner of a league like this. And he's kind of forcing Adam Silver's hand to kind of either slap the owners on the wrist or implement a rule where the owners can't do this. So I'm interested to see what Adam Silver is going to do. Maybe he'll just let this blow over, but if he's going to do anything at all to kind of combat this from the owner's perspective.
I imagine more of a slap on the wrist, but we'll see.
Probably.
So, I mean, unless anyone has anything else to say, I guess we can. Yeah. So, the big headline today was Carson Wentz gets traded from Philly to Indianapolis. And if you listen at all, probably not. I am a Colts fan. And
quite honestly, I don't even listen.
John, I forgot to send these to John Money Mino. John listens.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, John knows though, so I don't even have to say it. But Carson Wentz to Philly. This has been talked about. It's like a fucking rewind for me. Last year, everyone's like, "Oh, here comes Phil Rivers," and if you know me personally, I hated Philip Rivers before this year. Now I'm like, okay, that's done with. But then it happened. Everyone's like, Phil Rivers, Phil's coming. I'm like, no way. Then it happens.
I kept telling you it was coming.
And then it happens. And now everyone was like, Carson Wentz is coming. Just wait. Him and Frank Reich reunited in Indy. Oh, it's going to be great. And I was like, no, there's no way. We're not going to give up picks for him. It's just how Ballard works. He doesn't give up picks for players unless he's certain. And here we are. He's in Indy.
So do you want us to go first, or would
you go first? Go first and tell me how you think. What do you think about it?
Dula, go ahead.
That's tough. I thought you were gonna go first, but
I can go first if you want me to go first.
No, I'll go. I don't know, I'm kind of indifferent towards it. It's like it could go either way. I mean, he could be the Wentz from the first 4 years of his career. He could be the Wentz from last year. What I do think is he's going to a better situation in Indianapolis with top 5, maybe the best offensive line in the league, a good defense, a good running game. So he won't have to do as much as he had to in Philly. And I don't know if they're going to try to get some guy to compete with him for the starting job, which clearly wasn't good for him in Philly. But if he doesn't work out, they still have Jacob Eason on the bench if they believe in him. But yeah, I'm still kind of indifferent towards it because it could go either way.
I felt like this was almost inevitable only because A, apparently it came out after this that the Bears never made an offer, and B, the Colts draft pick is 21st. So those top 4 guys are going to be gone by the time it even rolls around to them. So it was almost like this was the move that they were going to make because the Bears didn't make a move. But there's if this works, it's going to be like, oh my God, this is a genius move. This was genius. This was an awesome move for the Colts. But if it doesn't work, they're paying him a lot of money. I don't know if you guys saw the salary breakdown for the year. They're paying that dude a lot of money.
They're paying him a lot of money, but if he's a franchise quarterback, it's a big if. It's actually not as much as other franchise quarterbacks that what the money Deshaun Watson is making, the money Mahomes is making. So
Goff's making more than him too, I'm pretty sure.
And
Goff's making more too.
If it works, it's not a big deal. But if it doesn't work, if it does work, it's good. If it doesn't work, it could be like, ah, shit, we just lost a bunch of different stuff in cap room. I am actually more on this is going to work. I think it's going to work. And Bryce, I know you didn't really want Carson Wentz, and I thought this was really funny when it happened. I immediately sent Bryce 3 microphone emojis. And he thought I was just referencing the pod today.
Yeah, I was.
And I said, oh, shit, he doesn't know yet. And I was like, the press would like a statement. And I think when I said that, he was like, wait a second. And I think that's when you found out. But so also, let me give you some stats as to, because you know me with the stats, this is what I do.
Yeah.
Into things that I looked into as to why this could be good for them. Phillip Rivers was pressured 91%. He had a 91% protection rate last year. That's third in the whole league. Carson Wentz had an 82% protection rate. That's 29th in the whole league. At the same time, you look at Carson Wentz in his 2019 season, not this past season, that was a wash. You can just say that's a wash. When they went 9-7, so 9-7 Philly, Carson Wentz had a 28.8 QBR, 6.26 in adjusted net yards, which is a big stat that we're using today in the NFL. Phillip Rivers had a 62.5 QBR this year on the 11-5 Colts and had a 7.1, so nearly the damn same adjusted yards. So if you look at those things and you're looking at, okay, so Carson Wentz was doing this stuff behind a not too good offensive line. He's putting up similar numbers that Phillip Rivers was putting up behind an exceptional offensive line. If you take just those things, combine it with him reuniting with Frank Reich, it's like, and with all the weapons that he has decent weapons. And it's like, I can see this really working. And if he can just keep his head straight, I'm kind of in on it. I kind of like it.
Yeah. So I don't know where to start. I'm going to start with the whole trade itself.
This is your mind right now.
Yeah. There's a lot of things to think about as this is like, if this was the Giants, right? Like there's a lot for Connor to think about as he's getting a brand new, supposed to be franchise quarterback. Like that's probably what you thought when you drafted Danny, right? But this is a little different. I
feel like this is a lot different.
Because
Colts are a way better team.
We just got off of yeah, by far. We were a season out.
I had to throw that in there. By far.
Just saying.
It was a given, but we just wanted
pretty
to
far away. We're pretty far away.
Yeah. But
Colts are a couple pieces away.
Tell that to Ann. She'll have a panic attack.
Yeah, I know.
He's still stuck on Beckham being traded, so.
That's facts.
But
okay, go ahead.
So listen.
No, he's come to terms with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. So from a trade perspective, let's think. There's 3 things Indy could have done to fill the quarterback gap. Because as of right now, we have Eason on roster, and that's it. And he's not going to start for us. He's not even close. He's a good, developmental guy, but he's not ready. We are either going to re-sign Brissett and sit pretty with our first-round pick, or we were going to trade for a quarterback, or we were going to trade, because you got to remember we have a lot of future picks that we got from the Jets trade back to get Nelson, and then we made a lot of trade backs last year, and we have I think this year we have 10 picks. Well, that's changed now with the Wentz trade, but we had a lot of assets that we could have moved up with and potentially got in the top 10. Probably would have went to 6 with the Jets, because there's a feeling they might stick with Darnold, they might not. Nobody knows right now. Could have got Fields, could have got Zach Wilson, maybe even Trey Lance. But, the top, Lawrence is gone at 1. But either way, you trade up to draft somebody, you re-sign Brissett, or you trade and get a vet. I'm not completely sold on any of these quarterbacks to trade up and give a lot of picks, except unless you're going to get Trevor Lawrence, which you're not. Trevor Lawrence is the only solid, he's ready to go, going to be good in the NFL guy. So I didn't feel good about a trade up.
I disagree. Go ahead.
Okay, we can talk about that at a different time. I'm working on that right now.
This time.
I don't disagree that he's not ready. I disagree that he's the only one.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not as high on Fields as a lot of people, unless you think Zach Wilson is the guy.
I'm not on Fields. I'm high on Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I told Connor he has a lot of potential, but I don't know if he's like there yet. He's gonna take a year to get there. I think Trevor Lawrence can come in and win now on the right team.
Great competition.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I feel that.
Yeah. But listen, so Brissett has proven that he can play. The year where Luck retires, he comes in and we start 5-2 and we look really good. Like people are like, oh shit, the Colts are actually really good even without Luck. They can do this. And then he hurts his knee, and then the rest of the season's kind of just a disaster, and we basically lose out. And I don't want to talk about that anymore because that made me really sad. But I think Brissett could play. We sign Rivers, we give him a year, we do good, fine. We don't beat Buffalo, tough game, blah, blah, blah. We could have potentially ran to the AFC Championship. I don't think we beat Kansas City. I don't think Rivers can compete with Mahomes head-to-head. We saw that when he was on the Chargers. So I think you plug in Brissett. I think Brissett is very undervalued, and he's going to go somewhere and he might make a little bit of noise, kind of like an upgraded version of Teddy Bridgewater. But we decided to trade for Wentz, and I think Wentz can do the things that Rivers does in Reich's sort of offense, except he has an arm and he can move. Those are the differences. I think they're both. He doesn't have the years Rivers has, right? He doesn't have the experience. He can't make all the same adjustments at the line that Rivers. I really saw him do, in Indy. That was like his thing because he doesn't have a big arm. He can't stretch the field too much. He can't escape the pocket. But what Wentz brings is, yes, he has those 3-4 years of experience, that one really special MVP year, and he feels really comfortable in this offense. You bring him in, and he's able to do not just the same, similar things that Rivers did, but he also has the legs, maybe not the same after the knee injury, but he can still move. I think we can all agree he can move better than Rivers. And and he also has a cannon of an arm still. The issue with him in Philly, and Connor touched on this, was he had to do too much. Look at the receiving core that he had in Philly. Outside of Deshaun Jackson, who played, one game this year, and Alshon Jeffrey, who is, I think I'm faster than him at this point in his career, and he barely plays. So name one receiver, not named Zach Ertz.
Race Alshon Jeffrey at some point.
Oh, he kicked my ass. But you get my point. You bring him to Indy with this influx.
You could beat Phil Rivers. I have confidence.
Yeah, you could beat Phil Rivers.
I think we could all beat Phil Rivers.
I don't know how fast you are, but I mean, like, you could walk and beat Phil Rivers. So.
Right. So what I'm getting at here is, I think especially if you consider the Stafford trade, what the Rams gave up for Stafford, essentially at the most we give up a 3rd round pick and a 1st to get a guy who's already potentially an upgraded version of what we had last year and went 11-5 with, and could have beaten the hottest team at the moment in Buffalo. And you insert him into a team where Connor said a top 5 line, as long as we can fill the left tackle spot. I don't know what they're going to do about that yet. I assume that late 1st round pick is going to address that. Or they move Quentin Nelson over and they find a guy to fill inside. I don't know. I don't know what they plan on doing there. But we're one guy away again from having a top 3 line, top 5 line, whatever you want to say. We have a dynamic rusher coming off of his rookie year where at times he looked really bad. And then at the end of the year, Jonathan Taylor looked like he could be a top 10 back already in the league. And then they plan on bringing back T.Y. Hilton. Jack Doyle was really sensational at the end of the year last year after he started clicking with Rivers. I think you give it time. Him and Wentz loves to throw to tight ends. We saw it with him and Ertz. I think Doyle and him can have a really good connection. And then you have the guys like Pittman.
Mo Alley Cox.
And Mo Alley Cox. People don't talk about him enough. He's fucking phenomenal. He's a great blocker. Great. Yeah, he's awesome.
ECU Allen. Played in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, yeah. And then Zach Pascal, Michael Pittman. People don't talk about Paris Campbell. He looked really good to start the year last year until he just gets a freak knee injury, hit to the knee. It was terrible. But we have all these young players, all these guys that Carson didn't really have after the knee injury in Philly. And you give him a line, you give him a defense, you give him a coach that has faith in him and isn't gonna. The problem with Doug and Carson was they butt heads a lot. But Reich is kind of an opposite, even keeled, cool. I'm going to work with you. I'm going to play to your strengths kind of guy. Whereas Doug is like, this is my offense. This is how we're going to run it. I want a Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. That's the impression I got that Doug Peterson is like. And that's, I can't tell you that for sure. But from the things that I read and the interviews I've read or listened to, whatever, that's what I get. And if you listen to him and Frank, just are completely different guys. And with Reich, Carson had the best year of his career. He probably was the MVP of that season until he blows his knee. And then the team goes on to win the Super Bowl. And I think you give up, at most, as of right now, it's a 3 and a 2 for a guy that can potentially be an MVP and take your team to the Super Bowl. I don't think that's a big risk. Even if he sucks, you only give up a 2 and a 3. And right now, Philly's paying for his cap this year. So you don't even have a big hit. We can go out and get somebody on a 1-year deal because there's a JJ Watt out there. There's lots of guys that are probably going to get cut for cap reason. Why not? Hey, revenge season for Houston. Win a Super Bowl. Fuck you, Houston. I would do that if I was
go to
him.
the Bills. Imagine him on the Bills.
That can't be allowed. That should not be allowed. They shouldn't allow that.
But
but
Bills have interest in him.
Needs to step in.
But you get my point. Like, this team has a lot of cap. They have, I think, the second most cap room in the NFL. I don't know what the Wentz thing does to it. Well, Philly pays for the cap hit this year, but the next year, And if he sucks, they probably restructure the contract or get rid of him. I don't know where that's going to play out. But we only gave up 1 future pick and a third this year. Essentially a third round pick this year to get a guy who's proven himself in the league with the right people around him. He can succeed. I think that's better than taking another chance on Brissett, who only went 9 and 7, or drafting someone that's unproven and you don't know what you're going to get out of them. I think right now this is a pretty even trade, but it has the potential to be Indy just fleece the shit out of Philly. But Philly still gets, if that's the case, then Philly still gets a 1 for it. But if you think about all the stuff they gave up to go get him in the first place, that's tough. That's tough. I think Indy wins this trade. I'm not sold on it yet because I need to see him play, just like I was with Rivers. And hopefully we get an offseason. We get a regular, like NFL offseason with training camp and all that sort of thing, all that sort of stuff to really get him back feeling comfortable. And he can realize, like, I don't have to do it all anymore. I don't have to make these plays where I'm collapsed in the pocket and I escape all this crazy shit to make a throw and Nelson Aguilar drops a 50-yard touchdown. And it's not the case anymore. He doesn't have to be Mahomes was in the Super Bowl. He doesn't have to run around and run for his life. And I think that stuff, as a quarterback, that gets to you and you're thinking about that all the time. And you said he was one of the most pressured quarterbacks in the league last year. Like, if you're dropping back every play and you're getting rushed, you're going to start to, like, your mental clock starts to diminish and you feel like, I got to snap. If I don't throw it by 2 seconds, I got to run. I got to roll out and make a play. I feel like that's the headspace that he got into, and that's why he made so many bad throws and so many bad decisions, because he just felt like he had to force everything. And he's not going to have to do that in Indy. And I think this could be a really dangerous team. If he doesn't even have to be 2017 Carson. He could be somewhere in between 2017 and maybe not last year, but the year before. And this is going to be easily a 10-win team if we get that. So I think the trade value-wise, I don't think the Colts really lose out at all.
I feel like throughout your tangent, you talked yourself into like.
I was just going to say that. I was literally. Here's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, Bryce, is this how it went after I texted you and you were sitting there in your room talking yourself into the Colts? So you just made the case for it.
No, I did. Yeah, no, I did.
When we first logged on, it sounded like you didn't like it, and then
no, I'm just.
Throughout like.
I'm a
For
little.
the last 5 minutes, it sounded like you changed your mind.
I'm a little overwhelmed, Like,
yeah,
this is
no,
a big
that's
move.
true, and you have to process it.
Yeah.
You probably haven't. We haven't looked at everything within, and all this stuff hasn't come out. Whatever.
Yeah.
That is true, though. When you go back and listen to yourself, you're gonna be like, okay, yeah, and they got this guy, and then this guy, and then I do that shit all the time. It's like, oh my god, I'm talking myself into it. So that is the case for it. That's the case for it. What do you think? About him mentally. What do you think about his headspace? Because I'm not sold.
What do you mean, like his attitude, like all the report? See, I think this is something that happens in all losing locker rooms. But because the management clearly wanted him out before last season when they drafted Hurts, like it was very clear that they wanted him out. So when things like that happen, guys in the locker room they're playing professional football. Like they're going to be competitive. They're going to bump heads and kind of, get into little scrums. You see it with every losing team. But because this was so prominent was because, Wentz is the franchise guy that he had that big 2017 season and then was falling off since. And I think Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie really wanted him out. And, there's parts of the, like we hear the report from an unnamed, AKA Alshon Jeffrey source saying that, he's like, they're talking shit and he's some egotistical guy, basically some big asshole who thinks he's the shit because he had one good season. And I think that's a little exaggerated. I always thought that. I didn't really think that he doesn't seem like that type of guy, right? Like we always see he's apparently some big Christian Tim Tebow kind of guy, maybe not to the extent that Tim Tebow is, but he's supposed to be this like country Christian wholesome guy that we see. And then all of a sudden he's like some big egomaniac in the locker room. I think that just sounds like competition and the media blowing it up and the Eagles management letting it out, just starting up like Carson Wentz out. They want Carson to go away. Oh, they drafted Hurts. Oh, this is the end of Carson Wentz. Like it's just been building since the end of last year. We knew he was going to leave, especially when he started playing poorly. And if you watch some of those games, like really watch, it really doesn't look like Doug Peterson does anything to put him in a position to succeed. Like he's getting pressured all the time. They have a mangled, thrown together, like improvised offensive line and just no receiving talent. When I can't remember the guy's name, but when that practice squad guy kind of went off for them, not Greg Ward, but the other one, and then Alshon Jeffrey comes back and they throw him back on the practice squad after he was their most explosive player. That just doesn't make sense. They're not putting the right tools in front of Carson to succeed. And it was just very clear, very evident that they wanted him out. So I think that whole like his head case thing, I don't think that's as true as people, were making it out to be. And I think if he's in a place where he's comfortable, he doesn't have to do everything for the team. The Colts are a run first team. That's not going to change with Carson Wentz. It's just going to make him more comfortable. He doesn't have to do as much. He has better weapons. He has better protection. He has a coach that has faith in him and is going to put him in position to succeed. I think the head case thing starts to go away unless they lose. In that case, we'll take it from there. But, I don't think the mentality thing is really as big of an issue as the Eagles made it out to be.
I hope it's not.
I mean, that's a big part of it. That's the biggest part of it. Because I think he still has the talent to play in the NFL, like, obviously. He has one of the more special arms in the league. Probably, you have Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and then he might be in the category under that. Josh Allen, yeah.
And then for what it's worth, on those, as I said before, Phillip Rivers had the third best protection in the league. Carson Wentz had the 29th best. Carson had 57 deep ball attempts, and Phillip Rivers had 51.
And those numbers also might be skewed because Costanzo missed a lot. So if Costanzo's in there, he could be one or two. Because once he was gone, the left tackle spot was bad. But that's another factor too. You gotta. There's talk that they might put Nelson there. I don't know how I feel about that. I want him at guard.
Nelson.
Yeah, best lineman in the league. Not even close.
Yeah, this possibly of all time, and he got drafted in 2018.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. But that's a big hole. That's my next big concern. Now we have a starting quarterback. We got to fill left tackle, and then if we find someone that can fill in for AC, I think they might even be the second best team in the AFC behind Kansas City.
Better than Buffalo?
Yeah. If we could beat we could have beaten Buffalo with Phillip Rivers. If we get decent Carson.
I don't know. Buffalo, though. Buffalo.
What if Buffalo gets JJ Watt?
We'll see.
Is he a contender for is Buffalo a contender for him?
Yeah, but Buffalo has interest in JJ Watt.
I think
the Browns are the favorite, aren't they?
Everybody not named the Houston Texans has interest in JJ Watt. But I think he's either going to Cleveland or Pittsburgh.
You're right.
Oh, he's going to be a Giant.
No. I think he goes to Pittsburgh and plays with the brother.
I don't think they're one of the 12 teams.
No, they're not.
Also, one thing real quick about Carson Wentz. I guess we just
Fine.
spent enough time on it. But one more thing, real quick. If you got guy that's a big head case and the media's blowing it up, like in a place like Philadelphia, you go to a place like Indy that's a smaller media hub, it could definitely help your mindset.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. And
That's
they
good. Any final? Go ahead.
and it's funny like that. I always found it funny that was a big thing because he seemed, like I said, he seems like this wholesome country Christian guy, and he has maybe one outburst and
he can't handle Philly.
Yeah, but then they have guys like AI and Terrell Owens that they had, and they fucking loved him. They loved him. And they never won a championship with those guys, but they loved them.
They had big attitudes and big personalities.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz doesn't like that.
Right. Exactly.
That's why McNabb is so good at Philly.
Yeah, it's true.
So if you guys had to say right now, gun to your head, is this going to work? And how many wins are they going to get
in one season?
Yes.
Consider the division. 10. I think I'd give them 10 to start.
I'll give them 11 again.
Depends on the Jaguars, honestly. Because they were good without Trevor Lawrence. And with Trevor Lawrence, obviously he's not there yet, but we know where he's going. I think that team could be okay to start. Because they were a big surprise last year. Everyone wrote them off, and they were really competitive. They didn't win a lot of games, but they were a decent team.
Yeah. But Houston's going to start looking like 2 easy wins.
Right, yeah.
The way their franchise is going.
Yeah, especially if Watson's out, yeah.
Yeah.
And Tennessee is kind of like their window's closing like pretty quickly at this point because how long does Tannehill have?
Yeah.
You know, that's the big thing with them.
And also, how long can Derrick Henry run for 2,000 yards?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Like running backs like him, they have a short lifespan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big physical runners. Yeah, I give him a couple more years, but it's going to be slowly become, I think, the Colts division again, kind of like when it was Peyton's team. It's going to be like run of the mill, like, all right, 10 wins, win the division every year. Let's go to the wild card or whatever. All right,
that's good. Yeah, you talked us into the Carson Wentz working in Indianapolis.
Even talking yourself into it.
Yeah, apparently. We'll see. I still need to see it, but I'm okay with it. I think this is the best move with the most potential for them. But it could also just mean that we made a big mistake and we're going to have to tear down the roster minus Leonard and Nelson in a couple of years and then do it again. But we'll see. All right, I guess
this would be the part of the podcast where we announce our sponsors, but we don't have any. So.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
I was trying to think of a quick sponsor that
sponsored by Paul's Weed Brownies.
Paul's Weed Brownies.
Yo, we could do that. Go grab some.
Connor will do one just for jokes, for content.
All right, so that was good. We got a lot in on that
Oxy before.
Huh?
I said I've seen it on Oxy before. It was a good time.
Oh yeah.
it was prescribed to him.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh,
the other time where he didn't take prescription. Yeah.
Yes, that's fine. That was
a good time.
Something. That was a good time. Okay, so Carson Wentz down. Bryce convinced us about the Carson Wentz saga, and we'll see how that goes going on. Now we are going to reveal for both Eastern and Western Conference our all-star teams. The fan voting ended today, I think, and the fans pick the starters and the media, I think, and then the coaches pick the reserves. So for this exercise, what?
You guys vote?
What do you think?
I didn't vote. Oops.
Oh yeah.
I didn't vote either.
So
I'm trying to get in the voters' minds.
Putting yourself in those positions, I like it. I think I voted like months ago, or not months ago, a couple weeks ago. Regardless. So for this exercise, there are 12 roster spots, 2 starting backcourt players, 3 starting frontcourt players, 2 bench backcourt players, 3 bench frontcourt players, and then 2 wild cards. They can be any position. And I don't. Did you guys have a tough time doing this?
Yes. This is hard.
This was very difficult. This was not fun. It was very difficult.
The benches and wild cards were hard.
Yeah.
I feel
That's
like
what I mean.
most of the starting fives were simple. I had one issue with one of the starters. I was flip-flopping. I could have flipped the coin, but we'll get there.
So are you gonna read the actual ones and then we'll give ours, or what do you want to do?
No, just because the we're not going to know like what it's actually going to be.
Oh, it's not final. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So what we'll do is I guess
It'd be cool
we'll
if we had like a
start.
graphics thing where we could put like
Afterward.
each of our
Oh yeah. I could do
just
that.
put each of our rosters.
Can we do that?
Oh, you
Bryce?
could?
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, why not?
Okay, let's do this.
Just like type up or something and send me your.
Yeah, I have a thing here that I can send you as well, which is good.
That works.
Yeah, I got it in my notes on my phone. So
Okay, so I guess since we all are fans of Eastern Conference teams, we'll start with the West and finish with the East, right? Does that make the most sense? Okay, so the West, the starters for me personally are locks in the West. I did not have any trouble with the starters. I know there are some people who are having trouble with one position. I have had zero trouble with this.
Mm-hmm.
And I also
I don't
have
have trouble either.
Yeah, on top of that, I had 8 guys in the West total who were just locks. There's 9 guys who were just locks. I'm just not even debating it. They're in the All-Star game. It's not even close. So for the Western Conference starters, I have Dame and Steph at the guards. I don't think it's close. I know people are making an argument for Luka, and I'll wait to see what you guys have. But I have Dame, Steph, Kawhi, Jokic, LeBron.
Mine's identical.
Oh,
Okay.
So I'm the odd one out then.
Oh,
See,
you're the odd one out. All right, make the
But
case.
I don't think
I'm
it's.
interested. I'm interested.
No, I don't have Luka. No, I have Dame and Steph. That's easy. That's a lock.
Oh.
That's a lock.
What?
Luka had such a kind of a shitty start to the season. I think that throws him off a bit.
Yeah, he's not on Dame's level.
And
You got-
Dame and Steph have
I'm
been
gonna
unreal.
predict you have Paul George.
I don't know. He's a wild card for me.
Paul George.
Spoiler.
Okay. I was gonna say you got Paul.
No,
George
I
over
have
Kawhi.
I have Anthony Davis as a forward. Do you count him as that's a forward, right? Because that's one of the that's one of the things I had trouble with. Just like, is he a forward or a center? Like,
Well, still front court player.
Yeah.
So you have 3 front court spots.
Right.
Doesn't
Okay.
matter.
So I had Dame, Steph, LeBron, AD, and Jokic.
You left. Wow. All right. Tell me why Davis over Kawhi.
See, this is where I had trouble. This is where I had trouble with the West because Kawhi has been really good, but because I think the Lakers have been playing better, and Anthony Davis is my front runner for Defensive Player of the Year, and they've been so good defensively. You can't leave LeBron off of it, and then Anthony Davis I don't know. The defensive side, I don't know. The Clippers are just a little bit different this year, it feels to me. I don't know if you guys get that feeling, but I do.
We talked about this last week, Bryce, with the Davis thing. I saw the defensive ladder with Davis, and he's like 4th. He to me is the defensive player of the year. He is just on another level defensively. And you can make the argument for Gobert, that's fine too, but Davis is just like on another level. However, his offensive stats are down.
That's true.
And it's like at one of his career lows offensively. And I think his great defense is not going to be able to. I think he's a lock. I still got him in the All-Star game. But Kawhi has just been. I mean, Kawhi's so boring that like it's just like here's Kawhi again. Like, but he has been like fucking ridiculous. Like he's
real close to 50, 40, 90 too.
Yeah, he's just been fucking ridiculous. And the defensive stuff with him is always good. And he's stuff like that. And I also think with this Davis injury, that too kind of puts him over. But David, that's fine if you had an. I thought it was going to be Luka, to be honest with you. So you have Dame, Steph, LeBron, Davis, and Jokic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also think since 50% of the votes come from the fans, I don't think that a casual fan's going to look at defensive stats or like expanded defensive stats. So that's the way I pick mine. I try to pick as if the fans are voting.
Yeah.
Because AD does deserve to be a starter, but I don't think he'll get voted in.
Yeah, I agree. His advanced numbers defensively are like historically good. Like he's just sensational. Yeah. So yeah, I see it. I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then this next crop. So I have one. Do you all have Luka as one of your guard spots? He's still been productive. Yeah. I don't think he's starter good, but he's still
Luka.
I don't know if they're going to do Paul George, because Paul George is playing the majority of his minutes at 2 guard, but I think he's only going to qualify as a forward.
Probably. That's what I had.
that's going to screw up guys who are trying to get in. But I have Paul George at a forward spot. Does everybody have Paul George?
I have him
Yes, I have Paul George at forward
a
spot.
wild card because of my
Okay,
Ooh.
that's my position. Oh, I like it. Okay.
Okay.
And those were
Bryce got some
so
surprises, huh?
we talked about. So I'll just tell you my 9 locks because this is what I had. I had the Dame, Steph, Kawhi, Jokic, LeBron, Luka, Paul George, Gobert, and Davis. Those are my 9 locks. I have Paul George, Gobert, and Davis on the following 3 front court spots. So my front court is out, and then I have Luka at my guard spot. I have 1 more guard and 2 more wild card spots.
Yeah, I have 1 more guard and 2 more wildcard spots, but I have all the 9 locks you have. So I guess you hacked my phone or something. Copied me. But yeah, I have all those 9 guys.
Interesting. So, you want me to just read my bench lineup?
Do you
feel like it's
have
gonna
the
be
same as
interesting.
What's that?
I feel like
Do
he
you
does,
have-
well,
who
he
do you
doesn't have
got?
Paul George, so
Yeah, no.
do
So-
your like 5 players, not the 2 wild cards. Do
Yeah.
5 players.
Well, you know one of them, but I have Luka.
do 4, because we didn't do
yeah,
our
do
5th
4.
yet.
Yeah, do 4.
You didn't do the other guard, right? Or did you?
No.
Yeah. So the other guards are different. So I have Luka, and then I have Kawhi, Zion, and Rudy Gobert.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. So
Okay, I can see that.
Okay, you have Rudy. And okay. Oh, okay. All right. So I like this. All right. So now that guard spot. Okay, because Paul George, you had it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I was very upset that I had to do this. So all right, Dula, I'll let you go this time. Who do you have at that final guard spot?
My last guard is Donovan Mitchell.
That's who my guard is. Okay, let me tell you
me
why.
too.
So
But we're the same exact
it
team.
was gonna okay. So I'm very upset. I did not want to put Donovan Mitchell. Okay, I wanted to put Mike Conley because Mike Conley has been their best player when he has been healthy. It's not even close. Mike Conley is top 3 in every every advanced metric. It's not even close. He is the number 1 player in the league in all on-offs in plus minus. It's not even close. Mike Conley, when he is on the floor, the Jazz are really good. When he is off the floor, the Jazz are not as good. They're still good, but not as good. His production has been so good, and I wanted to put him in this final guard spot. However, Donovan Mitchell is just better than Mike Conley. I know that. We all know that. The numbers say differently, but Mitchell scores more. He gets more stuff. The raw numbers are all in Mitchell's favor. But Conley's been out. Part of the reason I didn't vote for Conley for this spot was because Conley's been out for like a week now, a little over a week. And Mitchell's been, the Jazz have to have at least 2 players because they're the best team in the league right now. So I gave my last spot to Mitchell. Any additions? Okay, so
Oh, wait, Bryce, who's your last guard?
It was Mitchell. Yeah. And then I have one other.
All right.
We haven't done wild cards, right?
So we all have. No,
all right,
but we
so
all have
we
pretty
have the
similar
same
teams.
guys.
Then.
We have the same guys. We have the same 10. No, you don't, Bryce.
Well,
I
no,
don't.
he has Zion.
Zion.
Yeah.
He has Zion. Okay. All
I
right.
can still see that.
All right. So you have Zion.
I feel like
All right.
this year with the All-Star game, there's a lot of guys you could be like, oh yeah, they deserve to be in the All-Star game, but like they wouldn't make it your list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like there's really no argument against a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
So 11 and 12, we have wild card spots. Dula, who is one of your wild card spots?
I'm gonna say my first one is Zion.
You already
Right,
know.
so Bryce
one of
has him
mine.
in a forward spot. Dula has him in the wild card. So Bryce, you have Paul George
A
as your
wild
other wild card spot.
As one of my wild card, yeah.
One of your wild card spots. My first wild card spot goes to Chris Paul. It's not even close. You need a son on there, and it's sure as fuck not Devin Booker. It's Chris Paul. Every team Chris Paul goes to, it's 55 wins. Chris Paul just makes every team better. He has been awesome. His playmaking's been stupid good for his age. He just makes that team better. They're better with him on the floor. They suck with him off the floor. He has been everything. And Devin Booker sucks defensively. That guy couldn't guard us if he wanted to. It's Chris Paul. He has to be in the All-Star game. So
You'll probably guard me.
I
mean, it'll be a valiant effort, but
I have
You beat me 1-on-1 for sure.
I have 3 guys that I was rotating for my last spot. 3 guys. One of them is Mike Conley, because Mike Conley will go down as he's not going to make the All-Star team this year, but he will go down as the best player to not make an All-Star game of all time, most likely.
He'll be on best of the rest.
He will be on the best of the rest. He will be best of the rest. I rotated here between Mike Conley, Zion, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. My reasoning for it not being...
I was considering Shai.
My reasoning for it being... And then I had a subdivision where I was like, okay, who's going to make the group? I had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander versus De'Aaron Fox. And De'Aaron Fox's numbers are better, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would have like 4 more assists if the Thunder didn't suck. So he should be averaging a double-double right now. He has been off the charts good. We knew he was going to take over as his team. He's been really good. He's been as good as advertised. So now I'm in this rotation of Shai Gilgeous, Mike Conley, and Zion. Zion is historically good from the field. He is historically good within 10 feet of the basket. His production is undeniable. Like, he is a freight train. You can't guard. You cannot stop him. Like,
it's ridiculous.
4 guys cannot stop Zion going to the basket. They can't do it. They can't do it. However, defensively, he's been one of the 5 worst defensive players in the entire league. He's been so bad. Like, he actually played defense when he was at Duke. And I don't blame him, because in the NBA he's playing constantly and they're trying to preserve his energy. He does not play any defense. He doesn't close anybody out. He doesn't box anybody out. He just flies in for rebounds. He just doesn't play any defense. He's picked it up the last like 5 games, but his production offensively has to be really noted. It's between him and Shai at this point for me for that final wild card spot. And I'm almost still not sure who I would pick, but I do lean Shai because he is the Thunder. We thought the Pelicans were going to be better than they are, and they suck. We thought the Thunder were going to suck, and they're better than they are. And I think that's important. And that's why in my final spot, I'm going with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I do not have Zion on my All-Star team. He is the next guy in.
Interesting.
I can see that. All right, who's going? I'll do my next walker.
Yeah, go
Because
for
Bryce, yours is Paul George, right?
Well, Paul George. Yeah.
So
I have a different
one. Yeah. So I wanted to do 1 front court, 1 back court, but that didn't happen. I did 2 front court because someone's audio was messed up, or maybe mine was. But anyway, I wanted to go with one of the guys who will have the best story. So I went with Christian Wood.
Oh, yeah.
The second wild card spot.
I like it.
I went with Christian Wood. Especially with the story circulating about him during the beginning of the season with his girlfriend dumping him the same night he went undrafted. If I was him, I would go to the All-Star game, take a selfie of myself at half court, and send it to her.
That would be the most savage shit of all time. I wonder if he still has like a way to contact her. He should do that shit.
Hope so. I hope so. Put it on Twitter and
Christian
or something.
All right. Bryce and I talked about this last week. He's my pick for most improved.
But I mean, yeah, he's also balling out this season. I think he's averaging a double-double, right? Yeah, 22 and 10.
Yeah, and he's missed time.
Yeah,
he's missed like too much time to make the team. But I think if he had kept playing, he would have been like when the voters do it. He's going to be like
still going Christian Wood.
Wow, over and no Chris Paul.
Yeah, I don't have Chris Paul.
Well, the 2 I was talking about, it was him, Shai, and Aaron Fox were the 3 I was considering. But I just want Christian Wood to show up his ex-girlfriend. So
I like it. I like it. It's a good story.
I like it too.
Bryce, who's your final spot?
Mine was Fox.
Fox. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Fox is good too. Fox has been really good. Okay, so in summary, I have Dame, Steph, Kawhi, Jokic, LeBron as my starters. I have Luka, Paul George, Gobert, Anthony Davis, Mitchell as my other 5. And then I have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chris Paul as my reserves, as my wild cards.
And I have Dame, Steph, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Jokic, Luka, Don Mitchell, Kawhi, Zion, Rudy Gobert, Paul George, De'Aaron Fox.
And I got the same exact team as Connor, except my wild cards are Zion and Christian Wood.
It'll be interesting to see how they actually play out because the wild cards could go like 4 or 5 different guys.
Yeah.
The East was not fun. The East was the
No.
least. I did not have fun doing the Eastern Conference.
I actually like doing the East.
I
think we're all gonna have different wild cards though.
This was hard. This was
I
very
think so
hard.
too.
I think the starters in the East were tough too. It was relatively tough. So
I think 2 of them were locks instead of the 5 in the last. Well, 4 in the last one. 2 of them were locks instead of 4 or 5.
So I have 3 as locks in the East,
3.
and I think your 2 locks are Embiid and Giannis. Those are the 2 locks that you're referring to at this point.
We'll go with 3 locks. We'll go with 3
Yeah,
locks.
I think we all have the 3 same locks. Yeah.
The 3 lock. It's Durant, Embiid, and Giannis, and it's not close. Durant, even though he's missed some time, his numbers are undoubted. He's just undoubtedly He's just undoubtedly top 3 player in the East. Like he's the starter in the All-Star game. Giannis has been Giannis, and Embiid's had an MVP season. The guards I struggled with. So you guys have that, I assume. Yes.
Guards were tough.
The guards were tough because
a lot of good ones in the East now.
Depending on who you pick, kind of changes who you pick later on in the thing. It was tough. It was very tough. So Bryce, so go with one guard first and the discussion that you had with yourself. Do you have a lock at guard?
No. See,
I would say I do.
I think, my first guard is Brad Beal. And they suck, but he's just so good. He's not going to not make an all-star team. And his numbers are, I think he's
what they are.
Yeah, they are what they are because they suck so bad. But the guards were so tough. Especially because there's 2 that are bench players that probably shouldn't be, but I don't think they're going to be starters. It's tough. Someone else go.
Mine was a Bradley Beal too, because you're not going to have a lead the league in scoring and not be a starter on our all-star team.
Yeah.
So that's why I took Beal.
I looked very hard at this. This was I didn't not want to include Bradley Beal in the starting 5 because the guy just like he's walking into 37 points a night. Like he's just walking into it. I did put him in my starting 5, but
not very efficiently though.
No, not very efficiently, and
which is exemplified by my fantasy team.
And Facts. Bryce, I had gotten so many angry texts from Dula about the fantasy scoring and how Bradley Beal and because Bradley Beal
he'll put up
like
60 points and have 30 fantasy points. So stupid.
That's why you just draft Dame and he drops 43, gives you 45.
That's Dame.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so Beal, his offensive numbers are undoubted. He has to do all the work. His efficiency is fine. It's fine. It's not great. They suck, which that's part of it. Not his fault because they got hit with the coronavirus bug and they also had a bunch of injuries. Thomas Bryant tore his ACL. They weren't healthy. It was just him for weeks. And Bryant was out. Advia was out. Westbrook was out. And they were just running on fumes. So he had to take all the shots. He had to do all that stuff. His defensive numbers are shit garbage, as they always are. So all those things, I was like, wow, if you look at like all the advanced numbers and stuff, he really shouldn't be a starter in the All-Star game. However, I'm going to keep him as a starter because he is just undoubtedly scoring at an elite level and he has to do it. And I feel bad for him. So I'm putting him in as a starter. My second starter, I was torn between 2 guys. I was torn between Jaylen Brown and James Harden. And the reason I was Kyrie numbers wise can be a starter, but he left the team for no, you're not starting on my team. And there's a little resentment there for me for Kyrie.
A little?
It was between Jaylen Brown and James Harden. And I know James Harden hasn't been in the East very long, but he has been undoubtedly the best playmaker in the East. It's not close. He has been, elite for them. And when Durant and Kyrie are playing, he's only taking 10 shots a night efficiently. And when they're not playing, he's putting up 47 and 15. Like he has been everything that they have wanted him to be and more. And defensively, he's not good, but he's trying, which is like, oh, James Harden is a little rejuvenated here. He's trying. However, Jaylen Brown has been one of the 4 best players in the Eastern Conference this year. He's been better than Tatum. He's been the Celtics' best player. The Celtics have been hit with this terrible wave of just sucking ass. And Jaylen Brown has been their best player. He's hit every checkpoint that Paul George hit when he's become a superstar. He's gotten better every single year. And his percentages are better than any other guy I was considering. So Jaylen Brown is my second guard spot.
He's mine too, for the same reasons.
But were his percentages better than every other guy you're considering? Were they?
Yeah.
Better than Zach LaVine's percentages?
No.
Were they? Was his field goal percentage better than Zach LaVine's?
No,
was
not
three-point percentage better than Zach LaVine's?
No.
Was his free throw percentage better than Zach LaVine's? Is his PER better than Zach LaVine's?
Zach LaVine is not a starter. Zach LaVine,
Zach LaVine is my second starter. Second
Wow.
backcourt starter.
No way. I'm so excited.
Just look at the numbers.
I'm so excited. That is so fantastic. I have no rebuttal. There's no rebuttal to the numbers. There's no rebuttal.
Been crazy.
Jaylen Brown's percentages are better than everyone's except Zach LaVine's.
It's between those two.
True.
And I ran the numbers. And Zach LaVine has better numbers in most offensive categories.
Oh, wow. So, all right. So you have Zach LaVine and Bradley Beal. I'm so excited that you put Zach LaVine in your starting 5. That's fucking awesome. Okay. All right. So that's good. So Bryce, we have the same. And Dula, we have the same except for
Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine for Jaylen Brown. Okay. Excellent. I have 4 guys on the bench that are just locks. I will not be persuaded otherwise. I have Jason Tatum.
One of them's Harden.
I have James Harden. I have Kyrie Irving. I have Chris Middleton. Those are my 4 locks for the East bench. It's undeniable. It's undeniable that those guys are all stars, I think. Kyrie, you can make the argument because of his absence, but the other 3, I just and Harden. I mean, look, if you don't want to put Harden in because he hasn't been playing in the East, that's fine too. But those guys for me are locks. Yeah, somebody else give me 4.
Even have Zach LaVine on.
Give me 4.
I'm a little mad at
I'll
you,
give you
Connor.
4. Okay, so Jaylen I'm kind of mad at Connor too, actually.
Yeah.
Why are you mad at me?
You're probably more mad at him than I am.
Yeah.
But,
Come
all
on.
right, I got Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum on the bench. Want 2 more? James Harden, that's 3. Who should I give you for mine? I'll give you Julius Randle as my 4th.
Oh, is he in as a forward? Not a wild card?
Yeah. No, he's in there as a
Interesting.
forward.
I'm so
There's a front
excited.
court.
Dula, this is my favorite thing of all time.
He
Bryce,
deserves
go.
it.
So I have Kyrie, Harden, Middleton, Tatum, and I'm just gonna fucking put it out there because fuck you, Connor. Bam. What are you seriously?
Excuse me.
Bam. Come on. You
Excuse
kidding me?
Yeah.
Who's the
Bam
other?
Adebayo is in my wild card spot.
Oh,
Oh,
fuck.
I'm sorry. No, he's not. He's in my forward spot. My 3 front court players: Tatum, Middleton, Bam. Bam undoubtedly is. Is he a lock? Probably. Bam, Tatum, Middleton, Harden, and Kyrie.
I don't think it's close.
Round out my 5.
Who's another forward? Do you put Randall over Bam?
No, I told you. Bam. I just did the order shitty here. I have my forwards that are in are Tatum, Middleton, and Bam.
Yeah.
And then I
Okay.
have Kyrie and Harden.
The hesitance.
What do you have?
Don't do it.
Here, Bryce.
It doesn't matter.
No, I already said
Dula
mine.
go. Yeah, Bryce just said it. It's
Right.
Dula go.
Oh, guys gonna be mad. I don't have Bam on my bench.
How?
Okay,
I
go
have
ahead.
Vucevic.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, so who are the 5? Who are the 5? Give the 5 bench guy. Like
The 5 is all right. So it's Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, James Harden, Julius Randle, and Vucevic.
Wow, I'm so okay. That's good.
It's tough
All
because
right,
they
so we're
both.
mega different on this one. Okay.
It's tough because Bam and Vooch are both on shitty teams right now. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's true. But they're both probably
and they're probably both the best
Vucevic is
player.
the best player on his.
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
The way I
Kind of
looked
like
at
the
this,
same thing with the Bradley Beal situation.
Yeah.
I also was torn for that forward spot. I looked at Bam. I looked at Hayward. I looked at and like Vooch. and Sabonis even, but Sabonis has slipped, so I left him off. Vooch, the problem is if you just ask me who would you rather have, Vooch or Bam Adebayo, I'm just taking Bam Adebayo like every time. But Vooch, his numbers are 24, 11, and 3 on 48, 82, and 43. That's really fucking good. And I know he's in a Bradley Beal situation where they suck, and it's really good. But so, okay, the wild card spots, it's going to be a little chippy in here. It's going to be a little chippy in here with these wild card spots. All right, it's going to be a little fucking chippy. I have 4 players who were in contention for, first of all, someone who's not going to be voted an all-star, someone who I didn't have, but who should be looked at heavily, who is he's Mike Conley of the East, where he's just leading all the advanced statistics. The team that he's on is just better when he's on the floor. It's not even close, is Drew Holiday. He's been fucking awesome. Yeah, Drew Holiday's been awesome for Milwaukee, but he's not going to make it. So for my final spot, my final 2 spots, I had a extreme debate. I gave one to a guard, one to a forward. My guard debate is between Zach LaVine and Trae Young. And my forward debate,
I don't think that's close,
is between Julius Randle.
I don't think that's close either.
It's between Julius Randle and Nikola Vucevic is my second one. So
that's tough.
Vooch. He's 24, 11, and 3 on 48, 82, 43. Randle is 23, 11, and 6. So they're the same, except Randle's getting 3 more assists. They have the same field goal percentage. Vooch shoots 2% better at the free throw line, and Vooch shoots 3% better from 3. I had a really tough time with this. This was not fun because Vooch is like, that guy's really fucking good. Like, he's insane. However, story matters. Context matters. Julius Randle is on a team that I love watching. I fucking love watching the Knicks. He's the best player on the Knicks. He has carried their load offensively because they're atrocious offensively. He has been the playmaker that New York has needed for years now. He has been so good. He put in such amazing work in the offseason. Tibbs raves about him. Julius Randle is going to get my wild card spot for the forward position. Give me Julius Randle. Give me a Nick.
That.
Okay. I also have Julius Randle.
Oh, okay, that's good. And Dula had him in your 5.
Yeah, I had him in my bench, and then for my wild card, I have Bam in there. It was between Bam and Sabonis, but I had to go with Bam.
Okay, Bryce, give us one of your wild cards.
I just said Randle, but I also have Zach LaVine, the other one,
as your other wild card. Okay,
yeah. So
you have Randle and LaVine.
I'm really curious to see what your case is between LaVine and Trae Young.
It's a case.
Freaking Trae Young.
It's a case. All right.
Is it?
All right.
Here's
the case. All right. I will give you the spreads. I'm going to be fair. Zach LaVine, 28, 5.5, and 5 on 52, 85, 43. That's nuts. It's fucking nuts. It is. It's nuts. Trae Young.
All-star starter.
Trae Young, 42, 88, 36. The percentages are not there. However, Trae Young is a much better playmaker than Zach LaVine. He is a much better playmaker. And I hate Trae Young. I hate him. I don't like Trae. I'm not a Trae Young guy. You know this. You guys know that I'm not a Trae Young guy.
Sounds like you are.
Trae Young, the Bulls really, really suck. And Atlanta's not that good either, but the Bulls really, really suck. And Zach LaVine and Trae, they both are atrocious defenders. That I didn't even look at defense for this because it doesn't matter. They both suck defensively. They're both really fucking bad defensively. So Trae Young is averaging more assists. He creates more points. He creates 12 more points for Atlanta than Zach LaVine does for Chicago. Atlanta's top 5 in offensive rating in the entire league. Chicago's at the bottom of the league. His playmaking ability for other guys is undoubtedly better. He's just a better playmaker. He's a better passer. He just is. And I think he's a better overall offensive player. But this year, Zach LaVine, his numbers have been ridiculous. This was the toughest pick of the entire thing. Who do you guys think I picked?
I swear, Connor, if you pick Trae Young, I'm never doing another podcast again.
You had to have picked LaVine
I
because
swear.
you just said it. He's been better this
Trae
year.
Young because you are. I'm not even gonna say the words I'm thinking, but you picked Trae Young. I know you did.
Who did you think I picked? Trae Young? Bryce, who did I pick?
You picked Trae Young.
I really hope you picked LaVine because you even just said it. His numbers this year are just better and ridiculous. There's no way you didn't pick him.
Cheeky bastard, and you picked Trae Young.
No, I have Zach LaVine. Look,
Yeah,
the case,
all right, good.
The
good,
case
good.
was there for Trae Young. Okay, I'm not saying it wasn't. All the numbers I just gave you are facts.
Yeah.
However, Zach LaVine tries on defense. That doesn't mean he's not good. That doesn't mean that he's not good, but he's trying. Trae Young doesn't try. It's clear he does not try. He's very bad. I hate Trae Young with everything in my body. He can't defend anybody. He gets stupid fucking calls. Zach LaVine's having the best year of his career. Give me Zach LaVine and Julius Randle on the All-Star team. My plan was to convince you guys I had Trae Young over Zach LaVine, by the way. And
yeah,
I think
well, you did. You did. I don't think you convinced Bryce, but you convinced me.
Though that's my last spot. Zach LaVine and Julius Randle got my spots for the story.
All right. Want to know my last spot?
Yep.
Gordon Hayward.
Oh, all right.
I mean, the best season of his career since possibly his last year in Charlotte? Not Charlotte, last year in Utah. I had to go with Gordon Hayward. And I mean,
I like it.
I don't know. I also have a soft spot for Gordon Hayward. If only that shot for Butler went in against Duke. But I don't know. There's a lot of guys you could have went with, and it's just you had Hayward, you had Trae Young. I didn't even think about Trae Young. Yeah, I went with Hayward.
And he, for what it's worth, he's their best player, A, and B, they're better than they're better than the Knicks. They're better than Atlanta. They're better than all these. So
a playoff team right now.
Yeah, so. I was looking at him in the Randall Vooch conversation. I was looking at him. Bryce?
I already said mine.
Who was your last guy? Oh, you have Randall and LaVine.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys have the same wild cards?
Yeah, look at that.
Boring
Look at that,
hell.
Bryce. I actually, however, I do think that I actually think Trae Young might get it.
Just because the fucking league loves him, yeah.
Yeah, I think Trae Young's might get it. I don't know if LaVine's gonna get it, and I don't know if Randall's gonna get it.
LaVine's gonna be a starter.
I think it's gonna be he could be. I mean, he could be.
Who knows?
What are his votes actually? Because the fans vote for the starters.
I haven't looked at the votes recently, but
I think the last time I checked, Harden was ahead of Brown, but it was close between the two of them.
I mean, Harden could start too.
Yeah, it does. And
then LaVine and Jaylen Brown are pretty much out.
Yeah. All right. So I have my first five are Brown, Beal, Giannis, and Durant. My next five are Tatum, Harden, Middleton, Kyrie, and Bam. And then my final two are LaVine and Julius Randle.
We had the same thing for the starting five, and then I had Kyrie, Harden, Middleton. No, we had the same thing both sides, didn't we?
I think we did.
We had the same. We had the same East.
Oh yeah, look at us.
You guys had the same bench.
Nice, Bryce.
Same starters, bench, and wild cards.
Look at us.
Wow, thank God I'm on here because this would have been real boring.
Me and Connor usually butt heads, though. We usually have opposite opinions.
I know. I usually turn it off when you guys do that because one of you is usually wrong. No, I'm kidding.
That would be how it goes.
But yeah, so the East I had Embiid, Durant, Giannis, Beal, LaVine. See, underdog. I had Brown, Harden, Tatum, Randall, Vucevic, and wildcard I had Bam and Hayward.
I like it. The Hornets are just fun to watch this year too.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Hornets their franchise is going to start to turn around. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's going to be because of LaMelo Ball, not because he's that good. It's just because he's an attractive player to play with, so they can attract a lot of free agents now.
Yeah.
My next guy out was not actually Trae Young. It was Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
My next guy out was Ben Simmons. My second guy out was Trae Young. My third was Vooch. My fourth was Hayward. My fifth was Sabonis, and my 6 was Drew Holiday. Those were my
Any
next.
one of those guys, I wouldn't argue against them.
Yeah, and
Except Trae
Brogdon's
Young.
in that mix, but so yeah. But Trae, I will say though, Trae Young does have a case, but fuck that guy. I'm not voting for Trae Young. But that was my goal, was to convince you guys that I had Trae Young in the All-Star game. And remember, Trae Young was a starter last year, and that didn't make any fucking sense to me. But so yeah, that's what we got.
So might not even be an All-Star game this year.
True.
Maybe not. I think he will be.
It all could have been for nothing.
They released their official plan today.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
The players don't want to play.
I know.
They walked out of the bubble last year.
Yo, Goran's gonna be a starter again.
What is that?
Goran's gonna be an all-star again. Let's go. It's gonna be all the guys that never get in.
Fuck Miami. Title.
The guys that are just happy to be there.
Oh yeah.
Connor's
just mad because Bam made Jason Tatum bad again.
Bam was the best player in that series. It wasn't even close. I'm putting Brad Stevens in the hot seat. He's got to fucking do something, or I'm gonna be so angry. I've never put Brad Stevens in the hot seat. I've never put him in the hot seat once. He's got to figure this shit out because they're bad. They're not fun to watch.
This is also just a weird season too. Like it's really weird.
It's kind of like 60 a game.
I'm just saying, it's the gaping hole they have at the 5 that they've had since Kendrick Perkins left.
Oh.
Or if you want to put Garnett in there, you can put Garnett in there. But they haven't had anyone like that since then.
Yeah.
And their wing depth, they have no wing depth. It's Tatum and Brown. Like, somebody's got to help these motherfuckers. Like, geez, they're going to leave. So, I don't know. Kemba sucks. I love Kemba. He's sucked. He just doesn't look healthy. He's not explosive. He's like, maybe he just needs more time, but he's worrying me a lot. And that's my thesis on the Celtics. And we'll be seeing the Nets in the finals.
Sucks that, you keep seeing teams getting better, like the Sixers and the Nets, and the Celtics just like kind of really don't have a chance now.
So
they have a chance.
No, they'll be fine.
They're
they'll
probably going to get there.
I mean, they had the best record in the league like a couple weeks ago.
I'm afraid if the Nets and the Sixers meet in the conference finals, the Sixers beat them.
That could be a problem. Embiid, and we've always said this with Embiid. When 1 year, he's just going to decide, fuck it, I'm going to get in really good shape, and I'm going to be the best player in the league. And I think this is the year. He's decided. It's time. Tobias Harris has been really good.
Well, did he decide, or did he get a coach that's not a fucking pushover anymore?
Also true.
That's probably it too.
Doc, Doc, they're going to be in a playoffs. They're going to be playing Milwaukee in the second round, and Doc's going to just fold over, and they're going to blow a 12-point lead, and they're going to lose to Milwaukee. Like, this is what Doc does. Doc's going to do some stupid shit. He's going to have the wrong guy guarding Giannis. It's not going to be Ben Simmons. It's going to be Tobias Harris. It's going to get a switch on him, and he's not going to be able to figure it out.
Tobias on Giannis, Jesus.
And it's going to be bad. This is what Doc does. Doc's going to fold.
I'll throw Seth on him.
I'm all in on Philly, though. I like what Philly's done. But, yeah. Okay, that was good. We went for about an hour, probably a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Any final thoughts on anything before we wrap up?
Go Colts.
Zach LaVine's going to be a starter in the All-Star game.
Brad Stevens be better. Okay. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you.
Brad Stevens is going to go coach.
Connor's going to be the next coach of the Celtics when Brad Stevens gets fired.
I would immediately trade for Robert Covington, and I would immediately trade Daniel Tyson, Tristan Thompson in a package deal to Cleveland, and I would just say,
Jared Allen,
give me something.
Andre Drummond.
You want these, or I'll throw them to Sacramento or something. I'll make them give me Marvin Bagley or Rashawn Holmes or something. That would be my first.
Connor's just going to assemble the all Duke team.
I would say I will give you.
I want Bagley, Barrett, Tatum.
I would say I will give you Nesmith, Bob Williams, and Romeo Langford for Tyrese Halliburton. And before they hung up the phone, I would say I'll throw in Dan Tice for your troubles.
Hello?
And then hopefully
did you hang up?
You're still there.
And then Danny comes out with this statement today. Danny says, yeah, we're bad, and we're not going to win the finals, and it's my fault.
Oh.
I said, yeah, bitch, it's your fault. Because you went out and didn't do anything in free agency. God, he said
Yeah,
this.
just
last
sat there
year,
and
too.
twiddled his thumbs.
He said this last year, and at the trade deadline did nothing. And this year he's gonna be like, "Oh, I got to be better." And then guess who they're gonna get at the trade deadline? Nobody.
Maybe they should
I
get
swear to
Scary
God.
Terry back.
If he could, yeah, they do need Scary Terry back.
They should.
Yeah, where's IT?
They need him desperately. Is Bam on the trade block?
I don't think so.
I'll give you.
Something
Maybe
tells
for the
me
right
not.
price. I guess anyone's on the trade block for the right price.
Give
How
me
about
give me
Kemba?
10 first rounds, Tatum and Brown. Maybe.
How about Kemba, Bob Williams?
No.
Bob Williams? I love Bob Williams.
I know, I don't.
Yeah, when he plays more than 15 minutes
like
a
Bob
game
Williams?
before he
No,
fouls out.
I do,
There is
but
no Bob
I
Williams
hate
slander
Bob
here.
Williams at the same time. You know why, Connor.
I would also, not for like team needs purposes, but I would just throw everything at the Knicks and I would just say, I just give me RJ Barrett because I really want him. And then I'd go get Halliburton and I'd just go get all the guys that I like. And then
What is this,
That's
2K? Is this 2K? You just get all the young, really good guys and then
we should do that. Bryce, can we stream our 2K games?
yeah, I told you. That was I
That'd be
pitched
cool,
you that before
Oh,
Christmas.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so much better
Would
than
be
Bryce
cool.
at 2K. It's like, it's not
Yeah,
even
yeah,
close.
okay.
I feel like you're not.
My all-time
I
record
am,
against Connor
That's
is
definitely better.
ridiculous. He beat me one time in a 7-game series where he had LeBron. No, I had LeBron.
No, I didn't have LeBron.
You're-
Fuck you. You had LeBron. I had
but your
Kawhi.
your team was ridiculous.
Yeah, but I had Kawhi and you had like LeBron or somebody. You had like the 3rd pick. I had the 4th pick.
No, it was the other way around. No,
Guarantee
I
Connor
don't
could win in Mario Kart though.
Oof. Connor sucks at Mario Kart. Connor sucks
way
at
better.
everything.
It's literally not.
I am way better than you.
It's literally not fair to play against him in Mario Kart.
He
Dude,
sucks.
I am the GOAT. I am the GOAT. Also,
You
Mario
suck.
Baseball. I
No,
no,
you suck
no.
at Mario Baseball.
not-
Don't even.
Connor, you're not the goat. Cuba's the goat. It's just you're like baby goat.
No, you still
I
suck.
what?
You just suck, Connor. You just
Oh, wait,
suck.
at Mario Kart?
You suck at everything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's facts. Keebler, I can't beat Keebler in any video game. I can't beat him in any video game. That's facts. He'll beat me in
True.
everything. Except Mario Baseball. I'll whoop his ass. Oh, Bryce, I forgot to tell you. You can just this is going
Yeah, I was
to
gonna-
conclude this episode of Game Winning Podcast. Thank you for joining us. The 3 of us will be here next week
What
to
an
discuss
ending.
probably the Utah Jazz, probably some other stuff. So we are signing out. Thank you for listening to this podcast and subscribe to Game Winning Turnover on all social media platforms so we can blow up and we can make money. Thank you.
Yeah.
You don't subscribe on all social media platforms.
What the fuck? All right.